What is going on, everyone? Welcome to the post-game show for North Shore 9. The Pirates lose again, 10-1. And somehow rock bottom keeps happening every single night. Doug, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm just swell. Say hello to the other masochists out there.
Yeah.
Welcome, Paul Skeens. I'm glad we could show you.
Oh, my life. I can't imagine what he's thinking. Not only does he have to talk to Greg Brown, which is awful in of itself, he also has to watch Mitch Keller just get mauled repeatedly.
Right. Right. I mean, today's the game. It's the one time a week we feel like maybe we have a chance that we can score 2. He might hold them to 1 or something of those lines. And nope. Before that was occurred, this game was over.
7 pitches.
Yeah. I see Sam Baza, I think, says that there's no point in tonight's post-game show. And you're accurate, but we're contractually obligated, Sam. So,
yeah, unfortunately,
we do not disagree.
Unfortunately, DiNardo will be all up and down our throats if we don't do this. So we are forced.
Apparently, both Neil and I have terrible agents.
I'm firing him in the morning. I'm hiring Scott Boras.
We were not scheduled for this show, right? This was supposed to be 2 of the big 3, but they're like, nope. It's our flex schedule, and now you get Neil and I.
Yeah, well, it was great because I timed my run. Like I went for my runs. Like I'll get back just as the game starts, and it went just a little bit over. And I put the game on the radio as I'm running back, and I couldn't believe it. Like the last 3 minutes of my run, 4-run score. It was comical.
I was listening on the radio too. Bob Walk was just mystified. He's like,
"Yeah, Bob was like
the sweeper, the slider, the fastball. They're hitting everything."
Bob Walk, man, was not a happy camper tonight. So I guess that's where we can start because that's really what the game was over with in the first inning. Mitch Keller probably looked the worst he has in about 2 years. I'd say probably the worst start since 21.
Yeah, it's what career high in runs allowed, or tied a career high in runs allowed, set a career high for hits allowed. I mean, the only surprising thing is that he ended up going 6.
He's a trooper for that. I mean, and you can't even get mad at him. He's been so good.
No, I don't blame any of the players anymore. I really don't. Ben Cherington has created a culture of losing.
We can get into that. I mean,
right.
Even when he was getting shelled, I thought his body language never dropped. He was still grinding. That's 6 innings. In a vacuum, if we're actually going somewhere, that 6 innings in a blowout is actually extremely valuable. The fact that he was able to buckle down and do that, but because the team's going nowhere, so it doesn't matter. But
right, exactly. If you potentially say, wow, he still he saved the bullpen, he blah blah blah, but right, it doesn't matter. Rich Hill will go 6 innings and give up 3 tomorrow. It won't matter because the worst hitting team in the league, which now clearly is proven to be the Pirates, but prior to that was the Cleveland Indians, and they've got 21 runs in 2 games, including against our all-star pitcher.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's whatever.
It's bleak. Yeah. It is so bleak. And it's something I've kind of come to realize, or pitching wise, is that against offenses that are objectively terrible, because these games have reminded me a lot of the Cubs and the Brewers series that we play, where if teams don't strike out and they're slap hitters and they put the ball in play, we have no idea how to pitch to them. Not a clue. And that kind of showed these last 2 nights where, like the Cubs put 10 runs a game up on us. The
Yeah,
Guardians,
all weak contact. That's all weak contact, right?
I mean, Keller got rocked. That was a surprising thing, is that the Guardians were rocking Keller around the park. Like it was bad.
Yeah,
and there's nothing redeemable to take from this game.
Couple of nice defensive plays. By
Triolo. Jared Triolo was the only person who like showed up, except maybe Connor Joe. Like, like it was terrible all around. Mitch Keller got 8 runs, 10 hits. I think that's the big thing. Like 10 hits just does not happen to Mitch Keller.
Right.
1 strikeout. He gave up more home runs than people that he struck out today. I don't know.
Yeah, there's no great analysis here. He stunk. We stink. Right? There's just nothing. We're what was that Edge of Tomorrow? Live, die, repeat, whatever.
We'll be back tomorrow too. But something that you can maybe add. And I know Jim and Tyler talked about this a little bit tonight, but do you think any of this has to do with the fact that they don't trust Andy Rodriguez to call games?
Maybe, but then who's calling it? If he's not calling,
well, it has to be coming from Marin, I imagine, or a bench coach.
Marin, or Bradley Haddad, or whatever. But then they're awful. They are
awful, and a lot of people
that's a bigger problem, right?
And people are talking about how there's tipping the pitches, which it could be possible because nothing surprises me anymore. But here's the thing: I
didn't hear any trash cans being beat.
Here's the thing: you have touted up 2 top catching prospects. That is all you like. Those are your 2 best prospects, over and over again. One, you don't trust the catch. Instead, you play him out in right field where he's atrocious, which isn't his fault. He's never played outfield before, like last year. And then the other one, you don't trust to call games. You don't even trust him to call games when he's catching the same pitcher he was catching in AAA.
Right.
And so, what are we doing here?
Right. I mean, again, this speaks to our lack of development, right?
Yeah.
It's stunning to me that the way they've handled Davis, just because, again, we thought he'd come up and catch, right? We thought this nonsense. And then, they didn't play him in right field very much. He did not get a lot. So if you were planning on bringing him up here to be a right fielder, you should have got him more reps in the outfield. I mean, that's just that simple. He should be able to pick up a ball now. There should not be a whole lot of development necessary to be able to pick up a ball. He's done that 3 times now. Mm-hmm. But you're right. I mean, he's lost now. Not his fault. Not his fault. He's not a right fielder. Yeah.
So if you were committed to Andy Rodriguez being the catcher of the future, that's fine. And you don't think Davis can stick at catching, fine. I don't agree, but fine. Make him a full-time right fielder or a full-time first baseman. But this nonsense of playing guys in positions that they don't know. Well, and then when you do play them in position, you don't trust them to do the things that they're supposed to do.
In a season, you're on pace for 100 losses. Let him learn, right? I mean, who cares? I mean, could it have gone worse than it did tonight? Had he been calling the game, would they have scored 12? Who cares? It's so odd to me how they handle the catchers versus how they handle every other position. They do not care about defense at any position. They'll play, a second baseman in center field. They'll play, an outfielder, shortstop, whatever. They don't care. They have no interest. But catchers, these guys have got to learn the defense. But they don't. Again, you're planning on playing Henry Davis in right field, and you do not get coached up in right field. It is just absurd to me. It's just backwards. It should be, again, these are your top 2 prospects, and you seem to have handled them, completely wrong. And if they just didn't have great hitting talent, I think Abraham Gutierrez is going to be our catcher, and Andy will be our first baseman. Henry's going to be a right fielder, and
I mean, it seems to me, and this is that this front office is so risk averse and is so scared of taking risks and committing to something that they half-ass everything. You saw it in the offseason. They half-assed putting a competitive team on the field. They got a bunch of veterans, put them on one-year deals who are probably like league average players, fine rosterable guys, but they can't. And so they half-assed that. Then they half-assed calling up our prospects, where, Henry Davis should have been up like a month before he was.
Especially if he was not going to catch.
Especially if he wasn't going to catch.
If he wasn't going to catch, if he was going to play outfield, right?
Mm-hmm.
His bat should have been up here a month ago.
And then they half-ass letting their players learn the position. They are so scared that they won't let their catchers learn on the job. And and so, first of all, it makes me wonder, what the hell were they doing down in the minors to learn catching, and what the hell are they doing in the majors with them? Because everything just feels like they're like they're dipping their pinky toe in and deciding it's too cold and pulling it out with everything that's done top to bottom.
I'm very curious about our minor league development. We don't have a single player that comes up that knows how to bunt. Guys that should know how to bunt. Marcanos and the Bays and the slap hitter type, the guys that don't have the power, they don't know how to bunt. Our power hitters, our power hitters. It's kind of funny that I would say we had power hitters, but they don't know how to bunt. We don't have anybody that knows how to bunt. We don't have anybody who knows what base to throw to. What are they teaching them down there? And it's certainly not hitting, right? It's not hitting.
Well, they hit in the minors, and then they get up hit in the minors, and then they call up to the majors, and then Andy Haynes tells them not to swing.
Right.
So we already talked about Andy Haynes last time we were on. I don't want to talk about him again.
Nope.
But we will move on to the offense. I know they're pretty abysmal.
Good night, folks. It's been a great evening. Thank you. Right. There's no offense to discuss. A solo shot.
Yeah. Abysmal day at the office for the offense. 5 hits, 1 run, solo shot by Connor Joe. Henry Davis looked good.
No hit for 5 innings, right?
Yeah. Not a ball out of the infield in 4.
Right.
I think Henry Davis looked the best tonight.
Yeah. Triolo extended his hit streak.
Yeah, Triolo extended his streak, but 3 hard hit balls from Davis. Walked again. He still looks very professional. Like every time you come up the bat, like there's an aura of confidence around him that you really don't feel for most people. And it seems like all the good mojo and energy's been zapped out of Kutch and Reynolds.
Yeah,
they were awful again tonight.
Losing culture. It's a losing culture, and you can only, Brian Reynolds looks defeated. I don't know if he does. He just looks like Brian. He looks like Brian Reynolds. I'll grant you that he's not a very demonstrative person, but I don't know, man.
I doubt he smiled when his wife gives birth. Like, I'm sorry, the man just doesn't have emotions.
Yeah, he's not very emotive.
No, like, he just doesn't look comfortable at the plate, though.
No, he's concerned. Actually, there's a lot of concerns, right? Because, there are no solutions now other than a miraculous turn from O'Neal Cruz. This is it. These are the people. Jason Mackey tweeted out that Gonzalez,
Andy,
and Leo Figueroa had 9 at bats and 8 strikeouts.
Yep. They were awful.
Right.
Andy and Figueroa. It's only been 2 games.
Right.
But
way too early.
Way too early.
I'm not panicked, but dear Lord, Andy's not a strikeout guy. He's got like a 14%
he
K
looks
rate,
lost,
and he looks overmatched.
Figueroa got hosed on 1 strikeout, it was like several inches off the plate. But man, when your bottom 3 go 0 for 9 with 8 strikeouts, that really, really shows.
Right. That's our 2021 team, right? That we just had nothing at the bottom. And again, you're excited. All right, we've brought up Andy. This is going to extend. Here's a guy that's going to put pressure on a pitcher. And not yet,
Nope.
Not now. And again, there's no reason to be the least bit concerned or worry about that yet. But it's just the malaise that is over this entire lineup is just a thick funk that it doesn't seem like anybody could get us out of. I don't know I don't know what to do. I'm one of those. I don't like to complain unless I can offer a solution. I have no solutions other than fire everybody.
You're kind of at that point, right?
Right.
Where like you do kind of have to clean house eventually. Somebody
has to be held accountable for this.
Like, because we are just, when we were free falling in June or whatever, and Ben Sherrington goes on and says, well, our projections said that we were a 4th place team. So really, we're still doing just fine. Well, we're not a 4th place team anymore.
No.
We are in dead last.
Yeah, we
are free falling.
Listen,
2 wins.
The only hope for this team right now is to win the draft lottery. That's terrible. It's awful.
No, you're not entirely wrong, but I mean, there's just everything's bad. Like, and there seems like no accountability. There's no sense of urgency. Like, when
nobody seems bothered. Yeah. I mean, Ben Sherrington would say, "Man, we're Scott." I'd like to hear him say, he's like, "Oh, we're not, exactly where we want to be. We're not satisfied." How about we're pissed off? You know what I'm saying? Like, this is unacceptable. The team needs to find a way. These players need to dig deep. Whatever. I mean, blame it on the players. I mean, not whatever. Don't but somebody. It's what. At least give me just the bullshit answer of, hey, everybody has to do better. Our coaches have to coach better. Our manager has to manage better. Our players have to play better. The generic is something. But this just ho hum. It's another loss. I mean, again, he's like, oh, our chance to get the number 1 overall pick just went up 2.7%. Yeah. I mean, that seems to be, because his obsession with our 2030 team.
And I've talked about it enough, that all like the plan for the future enough, but like, yeah, it really does say something where, and no one on the coaching staff seems concerned either. Instead, they just, back each other up, even though nothing's going right. Like, I have defended Shelton more than anyone, but like at this point, he's kind of just a symptom of the toxic culture around here.
Yeah.
And so I have no problem if he goes, no problem.
No, right now there isn't. You can't be bothered by anybody on that coaching staff or in that, the front office being fired at this point. Nobody has a claim that, they've done something great, because nobody has.
Yeah.
Nobody has.
And all those things talk about like Shelton's win percentage on Twitter, saying he's worse than like Russell or whatever. Like, that's BS. Like, he can only do so much. But yeah, like you definitely don't get the sense that he's really someone to rally the troops.
Right. And like I said, the players seem to like him, but that doesn't seem to be enough, right? It's not.
I wonder if the players like him because there's no accountability.
I said that in lunch. It's like, they might like him because it's just like, hey, fellas, all right, enjoy your, post-game spread or whatever. Because there seems to be no, the mistakes we make, we don't seem to stop making. Nobody seems to be getting pulled aside saying, hey, buddy, you gotta field that. You gotta pick that focus. Keep, watch the ball into your mitt, whatever. That just, the cliche answers,
Unless you're Rodolfo Castro, who seems to be the only person who's held accountable in this organization.
Yeah. He is the whipping boy. Yeah.
So, another terrible offensive day. And I think the biggest, and I think I mentioned this last time, is that we're not hitting the ball hard. We're striking out a ton, and when we do make contact, it's not good contact.
Yeah.
So, again, and no urgency, no attempt to change things. Andy Haynes is still sitting there doing the exact same thing. Like
I said, I've mentioned this on post games before. I've watched a lot of teams tank. It's happened. I'm a 76ers fan. They tanked in basketball. I've paid attention enough, being in the division with the Cubs and when the Astros there, I watched, they tanked. However, I never saw teams actively try to lose. Like other tanking organizations put out we put out bad players, but those players and those coaches play to win. Yeah. Now, they're not going to, because they're bad teams. But the Pirates, that's not what they've done. The Pirates have managed games to lose and managed the Rockets to lose, and have given it bats to the Kevin Padlows and the Van Meters and and on and on and on. So I think it's hard to flip that switch to say, oh, hey, suddenly now, fellas, we want to win. We want you to
It
dig.
is.
It's like, no, for 3 years, it's been not just, okay, it's acceptable to lose because you're outmanned and outclassed. No. We're trying to lose. The lineup is set to lose. The decisions are made. We're gonna put guys in and that with ERAs of 9 with a runner on, and not when you have a better pitcher. It's just been nonsense. And I think that culture has permeated this team, and I don't know that the people are in place to get it out, and that maybe the only thing to do is to make some big changes. And I'm not.
The funny thing is that, again, like Brock says, this isn't tanking. They were trying this year.
Yeah, no. Right. I'm saying it's the tanking of the past 3 years that has led us to this. Right.
No, I think that's entirely fair.
The feel good April, the feel good Kutch story. It's just been swallowed up. It's just been swallowed up.
And unlike say 2011 or 2012, where those seasons didn't end well, but those had 3 months of good play.
Right.
Before the collapse.
In 2012, I think we were the first team to 50 wins.
Yeah.
Right. That was June, right?
You could see the gears turning toward an actual winning team.
Right.
This team had one hot month and then immediately folded on itself.
Yeah, those teams, you could make an argument were learning to win. Right? You can't make that case for this. This team is not learning to win. They don't seem to be learning anything positive. And and this is the team. You know what I'm saying? This is by and large, obviously the pitching will be different because of the injuries and what have you. But okay, maybe Santana doesn't come back. But, I expect that outfield to be Reynolds, Sawinski, and Kutch. I expect the infield, what's going to be
The funny thing is, I'm honestly okay with that outfield. I think that's actually an outfield you can run with. But
I do too. But
there's so many holes
until these guys start producing. These people that are here now, because like I said, there's Tamar Johnson's not coming up next year, right? There's nobody else in the minors. It's O'Neill Cruz. I'd say Cabrian Hayes coming back from injury, but do you think he's going to lead an offensive charge? I certainly don't at this point. Yeah, these are the people. So it seems to me that maybe you need a different coaching staff to bring it out of them. Maybe you need a new general manager, a new front office staff to work on some of this development issues, because it's not. Like I said, this team is awful. They look listless. There's just nothing. There's no positives. Yeah. Right. Again, when you take the positives that are a solo home run by Connor Joe and another hit by Triolo and a hit by Henry Davis, that's not, the only thing we lead the league in is saying, ooh, called third strike.
So everyone say a quick prayer for Platinum Cabrian, because he is searching day and night for Pirates highlights to post.
Yeah.
Poor guy has nothing.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Triolo making some nice plays.
And then I don't know. After Keller exits, you had 3 innings by Ladinsky, Perdomo, and then Johan Ramirez. I looked away. He suddenly gave up a home run. I'll say
blast,
this. I'll say this. Ladinsky, I like him. I like him as a bullpen option. I think you're going to have to start depending on him to be a 7th or 8th inning guy at this point. But yeah, I feel a lot more steady whenever he comes into games.
Yeah, I'm not fearful when he comes in.
Yeah.
As I am with some of the other guys. He does have some stuff. He's got to work on he's got the issues that a lot of young pitchers do. And he should be able to come in a game in a 6th or 7th inning, and not with the game on the line, when we don't really ever have the game on the line anymore. So he should be able to pitch with complete confidence. But how much damage can you do to an 8-run lead? Down 8 runs.
Yeah.
So
I don't know.
Yeah, I let him pitch. Put him in tough situations. this should be about developing these players on this roster now. That's what the rest of the season should be about.
But that's where we talk about the half-assedness, where you're
Right.
going to give playing time to Carlos Santana and Ji-Man Choi. Or you're going to – it's just – the roster is constructed in a way that you can't even be like, all right, we're benching people who deserve to be benched, because who are you going to play instead?
Well, I mean, the whole offense deserves to be benched now. I mean, that's really the problem. I mean, there's, other than Peguero and Rodriguez, who haven't enough time. I mean, again, Henry Davis went through a little funk. He seems like he's dug himself out of it. Triello, okay, those two should be in the lineup. But I mean, right now, I think a lot of teams would say, Brian Reynolds, we're going to sit you down for 2 days, let you clear your head, something like that. But we can't do that. He's still one of our, as poorly as he's playing.
To do that, you have to call it Miguel Andujar.
Yeah,
I don't think anyone wants to see Miguel Andujar.
That's not the half-assedness that we're looking for, right? That I mean, that sounds very piratey. I can see Ben Sherrington on the show saying, he's hitting more well. I thought he'd give us a spark. No.
Yeah. Well. Next exciting call-up will be Miguel Andujar and Cal Mitchell. So the reinforcements are on the way.
Yeah.
But I think we've exhausted this game. I think it's really just like Groundhog Day, man.
Yeah.
Like I feel like I said like almost the exact same stuff on Sunday.
Right. The next time we do a show, let's just avoid specifics.
Okay.
And then we can just roll it out. The next couple of times, just like, there was a couple good plays. The pitching sucked. The offense sucked.
I'm just gonna we can just have like a pre-set recording.
Yeah.
That we can just roll.
We just won't mention specific scores or opponents, and just the bullpen was bad again. God, and we'll be fine. No one will know.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us. We're gonna get out of here.
Appreciate you guys sticking with us.
Maybe we'll win tomorrow.
Maybe.
I forget what time we go off tomorrow.
The game is a 12:35.
That means I'm on. I get to be on just only about 12 hours or so.
And you thought having your summers off as a teacher was going to be a good thing. Little did you realize. I'm going to be working in a very hot factory, and will rather be there than doing the post game. So, all right.
Well,
have a great night, everybody.
And on that happy note,
your
have a good
2023 Pittsburgh Pirates.
Thank you for joining us, and let's go Bucks.
Hey, you all, thank you for watching. I know we try to provide the most entertaining content that we can, and we'd love to spread it to as many people as possible. So I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but if you could take the 5 seconds to like this video and subscribe to the page, it helps out so much more than you know. Thank you, and let's go Bucks.